Starlink on the roof of your vehicle or portable around the campsite? What is the better way? I've been running it now for a few weeks up there on the top of the Cruiser. You can't see it from here. It's actually hidden pretty well. But there have been some things that I think this is awesome, and there's been other things where I go, damn, I wish I didn't do this. I've been a Starlink user now, or the mobile one, the small mini roam. I've been using that now for about 18 months, so I've got a little bit of experience with it. Much of what I do is solo camping, and where I go, there's quite often no phone reception at all. So I use Starlink for a way to communicate with the outside world, and also for doing what I do for a living, that is creating videos and uploading them to the internet. So the internet connection for me is quite important. And these days, with the whole work from home sort of phenomenon that seems to be catching away, if you can work from home, you can work from here, and Starlink will help you do that. I have a few things to show you here, a way to mount it to the roof, another way that I use it on top of a tripod, and another accessory that I've been sent, which I really wish I bought one ages ago because, well, you'll see. Mounting Starlink permanently to your roof, or semi-permanently to your roof, there's positives and there's negatives. The positives is the convenience. It absolutely is the convenience of it all. Just a few weeks ago, I had a Starlink outage at my house, the Starlink at home, and I wasn't sure if it was an outage, like worldwide outage, or if it was something specific to our setup. So all I did was jump in the car, drive it out of the shed, connect the Starlink by plugging it in, and it worked. So I knew the Starlink network wasn't down, it was something locally to me, and my router was routed, and we moved on from there. So the convenience is huge. It works perfectly fine while you're driving as well. Sometimes it goes in and out depending on the terrain, depending on the tree coverage and so forth, just like Starlink is. But it works still fine as you're driving down the road. There's plenty of dead spots around here with cell service. I now understand it's a different network, but I don't have that issue anymore with this. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know about my navigation setup. What I would like to do in here is put everything into the one head unit, into an Android head unit. And I think I found the one that I'm after now. But those two things with Starlink on there and Android Auto, I'm going to have a bloody good setup in here with that communication. Let's talk about downsides. If you permanently mount this to your roof, you need to consider something all the time. That is where the sky is going to be visible wherever you park up your vehicle. So if you go camping and I've parked in right here, I know that south is that way, I'm not going to get much signal here. So I would need to move the vehicle out from behind these trees that are over to the side over here. So that is something you've got to be mindful of. But if you are someone who is always thinking about solar and putting solar out, chances are your headspace is already around that way. So adding this to that sort of decision making is not going to be that big a deal. Another downside for me is this, running the cable up to the roof. It was a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. This here is a steady cable hider thing, and it's already come off twice. It's held on with alien tape at the moment. Somebody in another video said something about cable hider that you can get from Bunnings. I haven't been there yet, so when I do go there, I'll get that and see if we can make this a little bit better. This here is basically a power cord that's USB-C. I've got this going up to the Starlink over there, coming down the windscreen, under the bonnet, through the firewall, and I've got a 100 watt SIGGI socket USB-C, and that's what powers it on and powers it off. The final downside about mounting this onto the roof of your vehicle in a semi-permanent way is people going to knock it off. Depending on the mounting system that you've got, the one that I've got up there right now, if someone knew it was up there and I left it on there all the time, it would absolutely get stolen if I went somewhere, well, and left a vehicle in a public place. I have no doubt that it would get pinched. It's not much good to anyone, but I have no doubt. And if you do have a different way of mounting it up there and you're going to take it off and on, it is important to get a plug for that socket to go into while it's living up there and the Starlink's not in place. Very important. The mount that's up there is one from 4x4 Lab. They make a few different ones. They make ones for a naked Starlink, as in no cover on it whatsoever, and they do make another one, I think they call it the XL, that goes with a cover that they make. So this is the base of what it actually is, and your Starlink will go into this just like it mounts normally, and this will act as your cable management under here. And there's two of these, and this is designed to go into a Rhino rack, hence so you can see the system here. And you may think, if you've watched this channel forever and a day, you go, you've got a wedge tail up there, how's it go? It doesn't go as well as I would like, but this is the XL one. It's a bit thicker here, and the reason this one exists is for this silicone cover that will go over the Starlink. And it's got a bit of a honeycomb on the back. I don't know if you can see that. And I think that this would help protect it from maybe even hail and stuff, you know. When I first looked at putting this up there, I was hesitant to do it because I was worried about the UV. And someone actually made a very valid comment on that video that I talked about this. And they said the Starlink on your roof is sitting in the sun all day with no coverage. It's already ready for UV. It's not failing anywhere. I like your thinking. But anyway, that's the ones that they make, and I'm quite happy with that. The downside of it for my roof rack, the wedge tail, you think about the Rhino racks and those sorts of platforms, the bars go this way. And the way that this mounts is with an edge, and the clamp in the middle here. So when it's sitting down this way down the vehicle, you'd be able to unlock it and lock it, put it on and take it off very easily. For me, with this rack that goes left to right, so I've got to reach over a bit. It's not the end of the world, very much a first world problem, but just to say that you can get this system that I've got to work on your wedge tail as well. There is actually one other downside depending on how you configure it in your vehicle, and that is once you get to site, how do you power it? Because mine is running from the SIGGI socket, which is actually the starter battery. We don't want to be draining the starter battery, obviously, we need to leave that power on. So what I use is just a little power station. I've got a few of these now. This one's a Jackery one, but the main thing you need is a USB-C that's going to push out 100 watts. So I think the power consumption on a Starlink Mini is about 60 watts. This does it no problem. So once I get to site with this, I then use this to power it whilst I'm at site. Incidentally, when I am at site, I still use that power station if I'm not using it on the roof. If I'm using it on a tripod, which I'll get to in a second, that's how I power it through the whole trip that I'm out there. If you are going to just use it at site, when you get there, you want to have some way to mount it. Now, I've seen plenty of people, and I used to do this myself, just put the Starlink on the ground, which is all well and good, but here in the middle of summer, that sucker's going to get pretty hot and there's no air circulation around it. And two, quite often you'll end up sitting yourself in front of it and not realising and losing signal to the satellites. This is the base of the Starlink, and I actually use this tripod mount here. This here is what in the photography world we refer to this as an Arca Swiss mount. That's the type of tripod base plate that this is. Most tripods, many tripods are Arca Swiss mounts like that. So that's the female, this is the male, and they just sits into each other just like that. You tighten up this screw here and that sits there mounted up fine. The benefit of this is that it moves around easily, one. Two, it's tall. Like once this is extended, it's about this high, so the Starlink's sitting at eye height, so you're not going to walk into it and so forth. And you may have seen in other videos where I will run the power up through my awning and over to the Starlink that's sitting away from camp a little bit. This here is a very good solution. If you're not familiar with it, tripods are rated by the weight that they can carry. And it's this is a bit of an overkill for this type of tripod, for this type of use. This here will take like 15 kilos. And although the Starlink doesn't weigh that much, it is a broad sail for the wind. So once you've got it set up, it might, let's say it weighs half a kilo and the tripod that you've got takes up to 800 grams. In a bit of wind, that sucker's falling over. So overestimate what your requirements are for it and get something a bit sturdier. If you got a tripod that took, say, 5 kilos, you're going to be pretty well fine. Even with that though, I think there is a downside to it. And that is, as you go through different campsites, as you drive around the place, if someone's driving around the place looking to pinch stuff from you in the middle of the night, say, they drive past, they see this great big white square sitting in the bush, they know what you've got and they'll come and get it. I've got something to show you here that will hide that. There is a company called Dishy Shield, and they make this. This is an acrylic cover, a tinted acrylic cover, that when it goes over the Starlink, well, this is designed to protect the damn thing, for crying out loud, but what I found when I got this, it hides it as well. Now when I go and set this up at camp, I'll put this on it. It turns the whole thing this light shade of grey and it blends into the bush quite nicely. So anyone driving past, sure, they're going to see you camping there, but they're not going to have that thing that they'll immediately identify as something that's worth a few $100. This doesn't work with the mounting system that I have. I would have to cut out a section here for the clamp to be able to go onto this. Not the end of the world, I really don't care. I keep this in the car. When I do take it off there, it's an absolute piece of piss to slide this over the top and keep it hidden out in the bush and help protect the Starlink while it's sitting out there on a tripod if someone knocks it over and so forth. And finally, if you are not going to mount it on your roof, and the jury's still out, like I do like it up there, but getting it off and on is because of the roof rack that I have, and that's the only reason. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it up there. I may end up just putting it on the camper trailer full time, because that's usually out in the clear sky. The other thing I'll show you, it's just caught up under there, is this bag. This is from, I think I got this from, it actually says on here, Undercover. It's the same company that does the chainsaw bag that I use. And in here, it's a full padded bag, and it's got this other section here that comes out, and this is what you actually put the dish in. And for ages now, for years, well, for at least a year, I've been using this in the camper trailer. So I would have this set up with the cable, everything connected to the Starlink still, pull it out of here, put it on a tripod, it's good to go. Good bag, protects it really well. And the reason I'm looking at doing all of this is that, for people who know me, you know I'm a bit of a gadget guy. I like things. I like looking at different solutions to things. And once that Android head unit is in there, and the one that I've chosen is pretty good, I'm not going to say it's good, go buy it until I've installed it and I've been using it for a while. But it's got tire pressure monitoring. It's got OBD Bluetooth, so you can check engine temperatures, oil pressures, those sorts of things from your head unit. I think that's pretty bloody clever. And as well as all the navigation, like Explorer Oz, all those sorts of apps, HEMA maps, all those things, and go onto that. If you wanted to, use the Starlink and get that connection out there. I think that's going to be a good solution. But I'll tell you more about that in another video once I've been running with that thing for a little while. Now, Starlink may not be for you, and that's okay. You may be the very basic sort of camper, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But these things are around everywhere. You just go into any campsite and that's populated, and you're going to see these things everywhere. Plenty of people are using them. So if you are using it, are you mounting it on the car, or is it separate to your car, or is it on a trailer? And if you're not using it, why not? Anyway, see you next week.